everyone. There we go. So my name's Alex, and this year I'm going to be the VP Finance for CVUO. I'm going to give you guys a quick rundown on budgeting for clubs. This is going to be my 5th year doing budgets for the CVUO. I've been part of a few clubs and helped a few clubs do some budgets, and I'm going to show you guys a few quick tricks and how to use this cool template that I made that will be available to all you guys. So I created this template that kind of gives you the quick rundown per semester. Welcome. So basically this page here is fully formulated. You don't really have to do much to it. Don't touch it at all. If you edit anything, it will mess up the formulation. Basically, you have these mini tabs at the bottom that all correlate to each of these rows for each of your categories for your budgets. So for example, we have club general expenses. So in this, it's separated for each month. So for June, for example, if you have an event name, for example, someone give me an event that they could run.
Raffle.
So let's go giveaway here. Event date, let's say it's September, let's say it's June 1st. Your estimated amount, let's say, well, not let's go 30 people, for example. At the beginning of the semester, you're going to put the amount estimated. So let's say $30. You will put $30 amount estimated. Amount used you won't do until after you receive a receipt and a proof of payment from the person who has purchased the correlated item. So at the end of the semester, say you spend $50, then you'll add in 50. The item name, say it was a gift card. Estimated attendance, say 20 people, and then you'll give your event description. And as you can see on the right, it already tells you that you have spent $20 more than you were projected. And on the budget, it shows for June, you were projected $30 for general club expenses and used 50, and shows you were under or over, sorry. And then, so for category 3, if you want to create a new category, someone have a category they would use for their clubs that we can use as an example?
Admin.
Sorry?
Admin.
So you have admin expenses. Pop in admin. When you go back to this page, it'll automatically add admin in. So we can do a whole example together now. So we got admin, event name, you can put in whatever it is. So say, what's an example of an expense you would have for your club as an admin expense?
Website.
It's a good one, website. So you got website fees. Event date, not applicable. Amount estimated, say it's $15 a month. So you would take 15, amount used, 15, item name, website fees. Estimated attendance, not applicable. Give your event description. Unfortunately, this was the best way I can figure it out, but you would have to copy it and do it for each of the months. And then it'll all add up for you guys there. If you need, do you guys think 4 rows per each month should be okay? Because I can add more and then send it to each club directly if you think you'll need more. Just so the formulation, you can figure that out later. If not, yeah.
For example, the website, let's say we're paying, because ideally we have 2 weeks and we have to pay it 2 years.
Okay. So you can just add it in. So if you're doing the website all in one shot, for example, you can just do website, say it's $200 for the year. I would just add it under June, just the total amount under that. And then also for whatever you change the top here, make sure you just go to the bottom and rename this to admin. And then if you're applying for funding, I made a little thing here. So green tabs means that application submitted, you want funds. Red tabs means no funding required for this category. Yellow tabs means not complete or no submission. Just to, so one of the most important things that I found when I was doing budgets for clubs was to keep have a really good transparency with your club members or with your club exec on what you guys are spending money on, and an easy way to communicate it to your club exec. So this budget template here is pretty easy to follow. And so it makes it easy for your club exec to input stuff, unless your VP finance or one of the presidents or whoever you have responsible inputs all the stuff themselves. Sorry, do we have a question in Zoom, or can you please mute your microphone? Thank you. Also here is provided a checklist by the CVUO. It's not letting me. Oh, it's gonna make me log in. But when you're logged into your CVUO account on our website, this link here will take you to a checklist. And in order to get your funding approved, you have to make sure that this checklist is checked off to the best of the event's ability. Some stuff will not make sense, but Lindsay, can we get into the website? Does anyone have any questions in the meantime? Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I have like two questions.
Yeah.
So if we need to add a row, can we just like input a row in the thing, or will like
Yeah, so it might mess up this side, this part here. That's why I was asking if I can like whatever club wants this template, because this template is not mandatory to use.
Okay.
But we can speak, and I can edit it for you guys and send you guys a nice copy. You need like say 20 rows or whatever. Yep.
I was actually about to ask, was this template available in previous years? Because I didn't see it before. And also you said that you're going to be sending it to clubs. To make it just available on the CVUO website.
Yeah, I can try to get it just as a download link, so you can just make a copy of it yourself. This is something that we just thought would be more efficient for clubs, so they didn't have to spend a whole lot of time creating a budget. So this was something that myself and some of the other CVO members kind of worked on throughout the summer to make the most efficient and easy way to budget all your stuff and record. Yep.
And if we had expenses over the summer, can we still include that in the fall?
I don't think so. I know you're not allowed to apply for something from a previous semester, but you'll hear more about that in the funding one coming up next.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a couple of new changes that you guys will all learn about. Yep.
Expenses that are not event specific.
You can just create like a general category. So for example, one of the clubs I was kind of helping out was esports, and we would create another category, and then you can just record stuff there. So it'd be like miscellaneous items or whatever. Yep.
I don't know if this is actually a question for now or for funding later on, but we did get an email saying that funding's changing a lot, and because of that, our funding is getting cut a bit, I think. So how much should we budget for that? Because especially with clubs becoming more in person now, online, I did not use a lot of money for our events, but now it's like we're doing movie nights, we're getting more stuff. So how tame should we be when we're requesting money?
At the current moment, I'm not too sure. Zach, the club's commissioner, he'll know a lot more than I will. So he'll be able to answer that question in the next one. I'm going to go through the first page just so you guys can see kind of the formulation. So this is all this here, all the projected stuff is now summed to total projected, in which all this here is summed to the monthly totals. So that's why if you edit something on here, say you change this to 40, then it's going to ruin. Bless you. It'll break kind of the whole formulation of the budget. So as you can see, if I change this to 50, it's not going to correlate where if you change something on here now, That's why you keep it saved to general expenses. Yeah,
Yeah, so I noticed that there's a event description box. So I know on the checklist it includes like bilingualism, and sustainability and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Should we be putting that stuff into the event description box.
yeah, you guys will just, you can copy that. Oh, sorry. Yep. Can you screenshot it and post it in the drive and I'll pop it. Sorry, what was the question again?
I just know that like there's bilingualism, like there's requirements for like bilingualism for the checklist. So
Yep.
we put those in the event description.
Yeah, so you would just copy. I actually have a template that I'm gonna also send. That is it's gonna be a Word document for each. It's gonna have an example and all that you can just easily fill out, copy and paste it right into event description. When you guys submit your Excel, I know there's a new system, but when you submit your budgets, you just pop this along with the one that's also required. So say now we're done with club general expenses. You can hit the drop down, change color.
And description, it's fine if it's like very long.
Oh, yeah. The more detail, the better. I would have it at least a paragraph and a half. Yeah. Try to separate like the event description and then the accessibility and the sustainability stuff, just because it'll be easier when you're inputting it onto our Excel spreadsheet.
Would it be possible for us to just make like a new thing next to event description, or would that also mess up?
Yeah, no, you can add that in there. Yeah. Right, and then you have a new one. Anyone else have any other questions or want me to go through anything else really quick? Yep.
If I'm a finance officer at my club and I don't know the ins and outs of all our events and funding requirements, what should I do to put in good descriptions to make sure all our funds get approved?
I would have meetings with your exec who will be creating these descriptions and going them over together. With the template, it will be a little bit easier because it'll have a pretty good representation of what's kind of looked for, in which all they're gonna have to do is answer questions. So it should be pretty easy to follow after. In terms of the template, there's not really too much with it. I tried to keep it as simple and automated as possible, just because I know creating budgets can take a lot of time, and it's I know school gets crazy. You got a lot of time to study, and you don't need the extra time creating a little budget that can be easily downloaded in 2 minutes. Anyone else have any more questions? Yep.
How would we add, like, is there a way to add multiple sources of? Like for like, my club team specifically? Like,
Yep.
We can have an engineering document and there's a team space that sometimes provides something. Is that like, how would you do different? Or is there a way to kind of show where the funding?
You can add another column, for example. So if you add one to the right, you can do like where funding came from, or just say thing. So this comes from CVUO. Then you can easily separate it. You can even create a table on here, and actually, yeah.
The first one is one you link the template in the chat.
I can. I don't know if they're able to access it because it's on the CVUO. Sorry? Yeah, I was gonna try and get it posted on the website so they can just directly download it from there. That'd probably be the best bet on their club's portal.
Second question is, I'm not too familiar with spreadsheets. Is there a way of adding additional months as the fall term would be 4 versus 3?
I'm gonna create a budget template for each semester. So it's gonna have the June, July, August, and September, October, November, December and like all the following ones. So you'll be downloading a summer budget template, a fall budget template, and a winter budget template. To make it a little bit easier so you don't have to change everything yourself. Yep.
You mentioned some changes to the process, I think the budgeting or maybe the funding. Those are that.
I'm not too sure at the current moment. That would be Lilia and Zach who would know more about that. We just found out about this just very recently. I'm not too sure at the current moment. I haven't found out much information, unfortunately.
At the funding workshop, you can ask that question and Zach.
Yeah, that'll go over it all in detail. I'm curious too. I haven't seen it all. Yep.
My understanding for the new funding is that there's different categories of funding, so will we be able to work that into the sheet?
Yeah, for sure. We can talk later if you want to change something, and I can edit you guys a copy and send it over. Because I know the dates have changed. It's no longer applying at the beginning of semesters. There's now time slots in each month to apply. Yeah, no problem. Anyone else have any other questions or want me to go through anything else? Yep.
What's some of the main differences between a good budget and a bad budget?
A good budget, I would say, shows everything in a good amount of detail and is very easy to follow. I've seen a lot of budgets where I'm looking at it and I'm going, okay, nothing adds up here. Where did you get this $100? Where did you get this $500? I would say having something that's very easy to follow. One thing I kind of do is I kind of ask people in my previous clubs, I asked people who weren't familiar with Excel, oh, can you read this budget? Do you understand what this is saying here? If an average person can't read your budget, then I don't think it's a great budget. I mean, the budget is for your club execs to know how much money we're spending. If they can't read it, then what's the point of having the budget? Yep.
Okay, so for example, budgeting for big things, and when you budget big things and you have like big amounts, there's sometimes like a lot of stuff. And for example, you buy $3 balloons at Dollarama or like things really small.
Yep.
I recommend putting everything we buy by letter or have a like special mini budget for like extra stuff. Because I don't want to get in trouble saying, oh, this is our extra stuff. And like, but you're not like saying what it is. And like,
that's why there's a separate thing. So there's event name and then there's also item name. So say for the giveaway, there's two different types of items. So if you have giveaway, because you're saying like if you buy a large amount of items from Dollarama, different varieties, right?
yeah, it's like, I don't know, a specific budget just for like Dollarama things, or do we need to put like everything just at?
Whatever category of items is purchased. So for the giveaway, if you're also giving away, what's something your club would give away? For example,
T-shirt.
there we go. You got a t-shirt, then you would just add an estimated amount of the t-shirts. Say you're spending $150 on t-shirts. On the amount used, make sure you put it to the exact amount. An issue that happened is that people would just assume that the amount estimated was the amount that they used. I would make sure that, so if you spent, say it was $150 estimated, make sure you put like $165.86. Just so you know the exact amount that you spent, and it adds up to your receipts when you bring all your receipts together at the end of the semester. Yep.
In the same vein, like if I'm like throwing an event
Yep.
and I'm getting a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. That's more of a kind of centralized category that I would say you can keep together. Decorations, yeah. You can even put a list. So for event name, say you're doing, say for one of your events, on the item name, you can do a list of all the items that you purchased, just so it's not accumulating and you've got a whole list of items there. Anyone else have any other questions? Yep.
I end up spending less than what was given to me and I have a surplus. Is there anything I can do with that funding rather than just giving it back?
There is amendments that you can do. Actually, you gave me a good idea. I'm going to make another tab on here that you can create for your amendments. You can keep track of where you can reallocate the funds, because You're not allowed to, if you run an event in June and you want to add it to your, and it wasn't in your budget last semester and you didn't do an amendment, can't apply for it in September, unfortunately. So doing an amendment in that case would be your best bet. But I'll create that and I'll make sure I'll add that. I'll also attach a little PDF walkthrough on everything I've kind of summed up today, just so you can read back at it with all the notes and stuff. Anyone have anything they're unsure of? Or sorry, I went through the budget really quick. It's it's very simple. There's not really too much. You're just adding in on these rows. So this one is highlighted black. Do not touch it at all. It's all automated. You don't have to worry about it. You're just editing these tabs. And I don't know if any of you will have more than 15 categories of items. Yep. Yeah, it's just finance@cvuo.ca. Any other questions? Yeah.
For the team space, we have to submit purchase forms where we like login information. That we were like attaching.
I would have in your event description, you can even have all your receipts and stuff like that in your Google Drive in a folder. I would attach a link to that file in your event description just for your own sake, so you can easily refer back to the receipt.
It's like we have to submit the purchase form before it gets bought, and then I think we get the receipt after. So I would have two different.
So you'd have the invoice, then the receipt, or yeah. I would add both of them just to have on file because you're going to need them anyways. Yep.
Does the event description go in a different document than budget?
I'm going to send you guys a Word document that's going to have everything outlined. It'll have a nice example of how to do a good event description. So you guys can just answer the questions. Super easy to follow because they take a lot of time, especially if you miss a few things. It's tough when your funding doesn't get approved. Had that issue in the past and it was not great. My club did not like me. Yeah. Yep.
So I know sometimes it can take a while for us to get the funding. So sometimes like the event happens and we get.
Yep.
Put that in that like we haven't received funding yet.
If you haven't received the funding, I would add just a little note in there saying that you haven't received. You can actually create a note here. Let me see if I can do this. You can even create a note here and just say, add comment, no funds yet. And then it'll highlight it on here for you. And then you know that you haven't received your funds for it. Yep.
I also just wanted to check. So if the event passes and you have to like pay out of our own pocket and then we get the funds, is it okay for us to like reimburse ourselves or reimburse members of our club to do the funding?
I would wait until you receive the funding. I also wouldn't spend any funds until you've been approved. Because we can't guarantee that an event will get approved. And then say, for example, you spend $250 on an event, it doesn't get approved, you've already paid for it. Unfortunately, it comes out of your pocket because we can't reimburse you guys for it.
So last year what happened was we had like where we had applied for funding and we'd been approved.
Yep.
But there was a deadline for us to actually pay. So we had to pay after we were approved, but before we received funding.
Okay. I would, if you have that issue again, send us an email and we'll try to give you some information on that when the time comes. Let's see. Which ones did you?
We answered. Next one we answered.
Specify. Previous years, you've had to submit your own team, like your own club budget with the Excel spreadsheet. I'm pretty sure that's also going to be in effect this year as well, but you'll find out more about that in the funding workshop next. I'm not too familiar with every single change yet, as it's still fairly new. Grace, yes, you'll be able to get a template. It'll be available on the CVO website on your club's portal for download. There will be one for each semester, so you'll have a summer one, a fall one, and a winter one. Revenues, donations. Yep.
When is it gonna be available? Because I think the deadline to apply is like in a week.
It's coming up. I know. I'm
We
gonna
do that now, and I'm like, I am stressed about it.
I'm gonna talk to our website team today and see if they can get it up there by tonight, hopefully. I believe you guys have till the 16th for September. Yeah. Changes came very quick and funding is,
Which is, we can't apply for funding without the workshop, but like,
yep.
but funding is like in a week, so like, I think it's, the deadlines are really tight, and like, you put us in a really complicated position.
In terms of other general rules that you should know about, bless you. You will find all about that in the funding workshop. They're going to be going into a great amount of detail in that. There's going to be a lot of great information that you will receive. Any other questions? Yeah.
Sometimes you don't encourage it, like we don't suggest it, so unless team members bring it up, we don't, like, there is a reimbursement fund as well.
Okay.
But sometimes like so would you want us to also attach the reimbursement?
Yes, reimbursement. You can attach the link to the reimbursement form as well. I would keep a Google Drive folder with all your stuff, just make it a little bit easier. Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Where would we attach it? Like in one of the, like create another section, or?
You can just attach it in the event description, or I can even make another section for everyone just to have like a receipt link and an invoice link or any of that. Just make it a little bit easier. Important links, I'll make it. Any other questions? Anyone have any other questions or concerns or a little confused on anything? Checklist is ready. So this is the templates that will be available on the club's portal. Thank you. So this is the checklist that will be available on the club's portal, which is very important that you fill out as much as you can. I would add at least 95 to 100% of each of the categories, or as many as possible for your event. As I said before, I understand that some of them may be impossible for some certain expenses. So like some of the marketing ones, graphics has to have an appropriate alt text. Graphics have to have good spacing around between words, just stuff like that. This will all be available on the club's portal. They'll talk about it more in the funding workshop as well. Most of the stuff will be covered in the funding workshop. This one is just a quick overview on how to use the budget. Any other questions? I want to make sure everyone understands how to use the budget. If anyone doesn't, just let me know and I can go through it quickly again. Any questions in chat? Is there any way I can send like a mass email with the links to stuff? Yeah. Okay. Try. Okay, cool. We're trying to we'll send that out in the next day or so they can have it. Make it a little bit easier.
Yeah, when we have.
That's if we can't get it on the website. Yeah.
We also to hand in expected revenues for our events.
Okay.
Do you have to?
Do they have to? I'm not sure. I don't think revenue, no. I think just expenses, stuff that you'll be applying for funding, I would add on the spreadsheet. That's about it. Anyone else? Any questions? Pretty much covered it all. Not too much right now because funding is going to cover everything. I don't want to go over it twice. Yeah.
Is everyone going to fund?
Wrap it up pretty quick. Yeah. If anyone has any questions, feel free to email me anytime. I check my emails regularly and I'll be happy to answer any questions. Even if you need help, I'll be happy to hop in a Zoom call or Teams and I can go through some stuff with you and help you create a cool looking budget. They have like 20 minutes. Yeah. There's still food available outside. Water and food. Okay, well, thank you. Oh yeah, one more.
Where can I find your email?
I'm gonna send an email. I'm gonna send an email with a link.
Template too?
I'm gonna send everything in that email just so you have it. It's gonna be available on the website. I'm gonna try and get that in the next day or so. But I'll send an email with all the information on there. Yep.
Like how they changed, that we do it like month basically. Is the website gonna be updated? How is that changing?
The website portion.
Yeah, okay, to submit, is it still like going through like fall funding and stuff like that?
I'm not too sure yet. They'll probably talk about that in
Okay,
the funding workshop with all the new rules and stuff.
I don't think the website's been updated.
It should be soon. It will be by the deadline for sure. Yep.
Can I ask how much funding we are supposed to expect each semester, and also what the difference between the funding template and the budgeting template, since they are.
Sorry,
Sorry. So I'm just kind of wondering, like, how much funding do we supposed to expect each semester, and what the difference between the funding template and the budgeting template?
So there is a funding tier system that they will talk about in the next funding workshop. Where they'll kind of talk about how much you're allowed to apply for. They don't want you just applying for say 50,000, for example, and then yeah. But they'll talk about all that. They'll give you the quick rundown of the different tiers. There's 3 different tier levels. You'll hear all about that in the next one. And then in terms of get back to you. In terms of the budgeting template, this is used more for CVUO stuff that you're going to be applying for, just because you have to submit us a budget as alongside with our Excel spreadsheet. So I would use this spreadsheet more for CVUO stuff, but you can also add your own stuff in there too, if you want to keep it all just centralized in one budget. Yep.
So we need to use the CVUO Excel sheet when we're submitting. Is this sort of template a good internal document for all the executives of the club to see and look at where funds are being allocated?
Yes. This template, I used it last year and I made it so it correlates to the Excel spreadsheet. Just so all you have to do is copy and paste. You're not adding anything else in there. Yep.
To clarify, so we can't submit this budget template, like this budget spreadsheet, when we're applying funding. We have to use the one that you guys.
There's 2. You have to submit your own club budget as well as our budget. So there's going to be a link and there's going to be a Dropbox for both of them that are both going to be required in order to apply for funding. So you will have to drag either this in or both in, sorry. Any other questions? Sorry? Oh, thank you. I will fix that after. It took me a few hours to make. So, you know, when you're going through it and make a little typo. But yeah, that pretty much sums it all up. Shouldn't be too difficult. I tried to make it as simple as possible. I don't want you guys spending 6 hours every month trying to figure out where you're going to allocate your funds and create a budget. And I know people don't, they put it last minute and you're waiting for execs in your club to to kind of give you the rundown what they're going to be spending money on, and you're stranded 30 minutes before the deadline trying to submit a budget. I guess that'll wrap it up. Thank you everyone for attending. It's nice to see faces and not be on Zoom presenting a screen to just names. No, budget.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure. They'll talk about that in the next session. I'm not too sure how much funds are going to be available. In terms of two budgets, there's going to be a CVO template as well as this template that will be available.
So it'd be like.
Is there a list available of what things we can apply for versus not? For example, using covered supplies is, we'll talk more about that in the next session as well.
The document I'm already working on. And. I don't know.
I think we covered it all. Yeah.
Budget, right?
It's like. I think that's what we were saying, right? Yeah, that's what I wanted to double check.